Well, a very warm welcome to St. Martin in the Fields, and welcome to Great Sacred Music. A special welcome if you're joining us for the first time or joining us online. We're thrilled to see you. Our theme today is the International Day of Peace. I'm sure you woke up this morning thinking it's the International Day of Peace. I must go to St. Martin in the Fields and celebrate it with the voices. Well, you've come to the right place. It was first marked in 1982. The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres directed the world's attention to the event in these words: "Peace is needed today more than ever. War and conflict are unleashing devastation, poverty, and hunger and driving tens of millions of people from their homes. Climate chaos is all around, and even peaceful countries are gripped by gaping inequalities and political polarization." So we've done enough to send you home unhappy. He also carefully connects the theme of peace to the Sustainable Development Goals created in 2015. One theologian says this about peace: "Peace is not a past state to which we expect and feel entitled to return, but is instead an aspiration towards which we invite God to lead us and at which we never expect fully to arrive. Sometimes toward the end of a conflict, people refer to the peace process, but in truth, the phrase is a tautology because peace is always a process." Now, it's our tradition at Great Sacred Music to sing a hymn together at the beginning, and we're going to do that today. If you'd like to take your sheets, your handouts, you'll find on the inside cover a hymn there, and it's entitled "Lord, Make Us Servants of Your Peace," and it's not what you think in more than one way. First of all, it's based on the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, sometimes known as the Peace Prayer, which I'm sorry to tell you was not written in the 12th century by St. Francis of Assisi. I probably need to apologize to Margaret Thatcher, who assumed the same. It was written, in fact, in 1912 by a French Catholic priest, Esther Becquerel, and published in a small circulation spiritual magazine. At the end of the First World War, the French Franciscan Etienne Benoit printed millions of copies of the prayer on a card that depicted St. Francis on the back. A few years later, an English translation was printed in a Quaker magazine in the US under the title A Prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, and the rest is history. The juggernaut of the peace prayer could not be stopped. Anyway, this also isn't what you think, because it's not the hymn written by the South African in 1967 entitled Make Me a Channel of Your Peace, although it's easily confused with it. It was actually written by a Scottish Jesuit who grew up in Glasgow called Father James Quinn, who was as Jesuit as I say, and he saw hymn writing as a kind of preaching. His hymns are scriptural, doctrinal, and Eucharistic. So we remain seated, the voices stand and lead us as we sing, Lord, make us servants of your peace. So 2 American pieces, no pun intended, for you now. First of all, we shall walk through the valley in peace, which is an African-American spiritual rooted in the words of Psalm 23, Yea, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. The valley, as you may know, is a poignant theme in African-American spirituals, including Jesus walked this lonesome valley and down to the river to pray. Valleys in spirituals tend to refer to resilience and endurance. And then we're going to hear a piece of Amy Beach, America's first successful female composer, coming to prominence in the 1880s and continuing her career till she died in 1944. This is entitled Peace I Leave With You, based on Jesus' words in John 14, verse 27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid. There's always a tension in Jesus speaking about peace between whether he's referring to an inner peace or an outer public one. It's rather similar to the tension when the church talks about healing, whether we expect people suddenly to be physically transformed or if we're talking about a different kind of healing of the mind and the heart. There's also a tension between which is the most important, an outer peace and an inner peace. Well, there's something to reflect on as we hear Amy Beach and the spiritual together now. Now we're moving to Wales because The Armed Man is a requiem mass by Welsh composer Carl Jenkins, subtitled A Mass for Peace. It was commissioned by the Royal Armouries Museum to mark its move from London to Leeds and was dedicated to victims of the war in Kosovo. It charts with growing menace the descent into war interspersed with moments of reflection and demonstrates the horrors that war brings and concludes with the hope for peace in a new millennium when sorrow, pain, and death can be overcome. The Armed Man stands in the tradition of Benjamin Britten's War Requiem as the commemoration of war through pointing a path to peace. And we're now going to hear the Benedictus from The Armed Man. arguments about whether peace without justice is really peace, either practically or conceptually, and arguments about whether peace is a goal or a process will always continue. The piece we're about to hear suggests that however hard we may work for peace, and some may fight for peace, peace is in the end a gift. Let's enjoy Peace by Paul Miller. Now it's time for us all to sing again, and you can find the second hymn in your sheet, in the inside of your sheets. Just to quote the same theologian of peace that I quoted earlier, it's not that we know what resurrection looks like, and peace is a helpful analogy of that resurrection, the resurrection of Jesus and its immediate sense of the body raised after crucifixion, and its wider sense of the forgiveness, resurrection, and healing that are recorded in the post-resurrection gospel accounts is precisely an account of what peace entails. Peace is, in the end, resurrection. Let's remain seated as the voices stand and lead us and sing together. Peace, perfect peace. Well, we're coming towards the end of Great Sacred Music for this Thursday. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. If you have, there's an opportunity to make a donation either by swipe or in cash as you depart. If you're joining us online, other technology is available by text or website. Do look out on Sunday if you're in town for our sister program Choral Classics at 3:15, and if you're in town next Thursday, do join us at Great Sacred Music, where the theme will be St. Michael and all angels. We're going to finish with I've Got Peace Like a River, which compares the peace of God to a flowing river, the joy of Christ, to a bubbling fountain and the love of God, to a wide ocean. All three have multiple layers of significance. They appear among the first three fruits of the Spirit in Galatians chapter 5. But furthermore, every river in spirituals has some connection to the Ohio River, which formed the boundary between slavery and freedom. and every ocean has some link to the Atlantic, across which Africans were for centuries brought from freedom to slavery. Martin Luther King famously quoted Amos's description of peace flowing like a mighty river and justice like a never-failing stream. Thanks for joining us.